childcare owners. For those of you guys who do not know me, my name is Donna Wafer and I am a childcare CFO. I assist childcare owners in increasing their revenues on an annual basis while simultaneously decreasing their tax liability so that you as a childcare owner do not pay more taxes than you owe. Okay, so today I want to talk about the top 3 reasons that childcare owners will have a tax liability at the end of the year. And what I mean by have a tax liability at the end of the year, the top 3 reasons why childcare owners will owe taxes at year end. Okay, so let's start off with the number 1 reason. The number 1 reason is that you did not pay any type of federal taxes to the IRS throughout that calendar year. Okay, so what I mean by that, there was this childcare owner who brought in, it was roughly over $150,000 annually in childcare income. This income consisted of subsidy income, parent private pay income, grant income, and food program nutrition income as well. Okay, and it totaled $150,000 roughly. And we prepared this particular client's tax return, and they could not understand why did they have such a significant tax liability at year end. And so I explained to this particular client that the reason that happened, the reason why they had this huge tax liability is because out of all that income that they received throughout the year, that $150,000, they did not pay any type of federal income tax on that income. So if you did not pay any federal income tax throughout the year, when you file your tax return, that's how you ended up with this huge tax liability. Okay, so that's one of the reasons why childcare owners owe a tax liability at year end. They do not pay any type of estimated federal tax throughout the year. Okay, the second reason why a childcare owner owes taxes at the end of the year is because their business is formed incorrectly. Right? What I mean by this is that you may be formed as a sole proprietor, but that's not in your best interest from a tax standpoint. Okay? Maybe you are formed as a sole proprietor, but you should instead be formed as a LLC that has taken the S Corp taxable election. Maybe that's a more beneficial, tax ramification for you. And because you are formed improperly or incorrectly, this constitutes you to owe a huge tax liability at the end of the year. Okay, so it's very important that you get with your childcare financial professional to make sure that the way your childcare is formed, doesn't matter if it's in-home, doesn't matter if it's facility center-based, you need to make sure that your business is formed correctly from a advantageous taxable standpoint. Okay, it needs to be advantageous to you. You need to be receiving some type of benefit by being formed in certain ways. Okay, the third reason why many childcare owners owe a tax liability at the end of the year is because they have not properly kept up with their expenses, their receipts, and all that good stuff. So if you're not keeping up with the things that you purchase for your child care, the supplies and all of that good stuff, then you're gonna miss out on deductions at year end because you don't have proof that you actually made these expenses or incurred these expenses. Not only do you not have proof, you have absolutely no idea what exact expenses that took place throughout that current year. You know there were some expenses that happened, but you can't pinpoint what they were. And because of this, that also leads to you as the childcare owner owing taxes at the end of the year, okay? Because you miss out on deductions. You miss out on these deductions because you don't have proof of these expenses. So it's very important to have good record keeping throughout the year. It's very important to keep up with your receipts, to keep up with your income, all of that good stuff throughout the year, because it does play a part in regards to if you will owe as the childcare owner taxes at the end of the year or not. All right. So just to briefly run back over it, the top 3 ways that a childcare owner would typically owe taxes at the end of the year is that they're not paying their federal estimated taxes. They're not paying any type of taxes throughout the year with the income that they've received. They are not keeping up with their receipts. You're not keeping up with your receipts, so therefore you are missing deductions, okay? Also, last but not least, your child care may be formed incorrectly. You need to get with your financial professional to see if the way that your child care is formed, if it's a benefit to you from a taxable standpoint, as those things are very important. If you can save on taxes, say for instance, if we could have saved that child care owner 15 grand on taxes by making sure that she was paying taxes throughout the year, making sure that she was keeping up with her receipts and all that good stuff throughout the year, and making sure that she was formed properly, she would not have had that $15,000 tax liability, or any type of tax liability for that matter. And she could have used the monies that she was paying back in taxes for something else pertaining to her child care. She could have expanded her child care. She could have purchased a child care business vehicle, a van, or something along those lines. So it's very important that you are aware of the top 3 ways that I've seen day in, day out in regards to how child care owners end up with this huge tax liability at the end of the year.